Oshia Gojumavane Bhakti Vinoda Eyasya Kori Oshiyam Prabhu Kripa Lagi Vyakula Yantare Prabhu Kripa Lagi Antare Sadakare Sangopane Sadakare Sangopane Prabhu Kripa Lagi Vyakula Antare Sadakare Sangopane Kabe mora habe nodin Kabe nodin Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Oh, Kripa Koro More Vaishnav Thakur, Kripa Koro More Vaishnav Thakur, Kripa Koro More Vaishnav Thakur, Kripa Koro More Vaishnav Thakur. Oh Hari, when will such a day be mine? I shall develop attachment to pure-hearted Vaishnavas, by which my material desires will be subdued. No disparity shall remain between my internal and external behavior. I shall not desire honor for myself and shall instead offer respect to others. I shall remain constantly absorbed in chanting Krishna's names and remembering him. I shall perform my bodily activities out of habit, just to maintain my life. I shall become attached only to that which is favorable to bhajan of Sri Krishna. I shall firmly reject whatever is unfavorable for bhajan. Absorbed in bhajan, when the time comes, I shall readily give up this body. With these aspirations, Bhaktivinoda resides in the forest of Godrum. He always weeps in a solitary place, anxious at heart to receive the mercy of the Lord.
Going to tie again. Yeah, I need it. How about David Jayadeva? Page 85. Devadi Deva Gora Chandra Gori Dasa Mandire Devadi Deva Gora Chandra Gori Dasa Mandire Nityananda Sange Gora Ambika Devi Hare Charu Aruna Gunjahara Ritkamale Jayadore Virinchi Sevya Pada Padma Lakshmi Sevya Sarare Sarare Tapta Hema Anga Kanti Pratakaruna ambare. Radhikanuraga prema bhakti vancha je kore. Devari Deva Gora Chandra Goridasa Mandire. Sachi Sutta Gora Chandra Anandita Antare. Pashanda Kanda Nityananda Sange Range Vihare. Nityananda Gora Chandra Goridasa Mandire. Goridasa Karatasha Sarva Jiva Urhare. Devari Deva Gora Chandra Goridasa Mandire. Nityananda Sange Gora Ambika Devi Hare. Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur. Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Gaura Chandra, Nityananda, Jaya Gaura Chandra. Jaya Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Nitai Ki. English? The Lord of Lords, Shri Gaura Chandra, along with Nityananda Prabhu, revels in the house of Gauridas Pandit and Ambika Kalna. He wears a beautiful red gunjamala that extends to his lotus heart. Brahma and Lakshmi worship his lotus feet with great respect. The radiance of his body shines like molten gold, and his cloth is saffron like the rising sun. He desires the prem bhakti of Srimati Radhika, which is full of anurag. The son of Sachi, Shri Gaura Chandra, is internally blissful. He playfully roams about with Nityananda Prabhu, the vanquisher of atheists. Both Nityananda and Gaura Chandra are in the house of Gauridas, who hopes that they will deliver all jivas.
Jayadeva Goswami ki jai. Tirabhav Mahotsav ki jai. 352. Shita Kamala Kucha Mandala Jita Kundalaye Shita Lita Kamala Kuja Mandala Drita Kundalae Kalita Lalita Vanamala Kalita Lalita Vanamala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Lita Lalita Vanamala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Dinamani Mandana Mandana Baba Kandana Dinamani Mandana Mandana Baba Kandana Muni Janamana Samsadina Samsa Muni Janamana Samsa Muni Janamana Samsa Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Muni Janamana Samsa Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Yashoda Dulala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Yashoda Dulala Deva Hare Kaliya Visadara Ganjana Janaranjanae Kaliya Visada Jadu Kulanalina Dinesha Jadu Kulanalina Dinesha Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jadu Kulanalina Dinesha Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Madhumura Naraka Vinashana Garudashanae Madhumura Shurakula Keli Nidana Shurakula Keli Nidana Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Shurakula Keli Nidana Jaya Jaya Deva Hare O Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Yashoda Dulala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Yashoda Dulala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Amala Kamala Dalalochana Bhava Mochana Amala Kamala Tribhuvana Bhavana Nidana Tribhuvana Bhavana Nidana Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Tribhuvana Bhavana Nidana Jaya Jaya Deva Chanaka Sutta Krita Bhushana Jita Dushanae Samarashamita Dasakanta Samarashamita Dasakanta Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Chaladara Sundara Chitamandara Abhinava Chaladara Shimukha Chandra Chakora Radha Mukha Chandra Chakora Radha Mukha Chandra Chakora Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Radha Mukha Chandra Chakora Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Tava Charane Pranatavayam Iti Bhavayaye Tava Charane Pranatavayam Iti Bhavayaye Kuru Kushalam Pranateshu Kuru Kushalam Pranateshu Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Kuru Kushalam Pranateshu Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Shri Jaya Deva Kaveri Dam Kurute Mudam Shri Jaya Deva Kaveri Dam Kurute Mudam Mangalamujvala Gitam Mangalamujvala Gitam Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Mangalamujvala Gitam Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Oh Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Yashoda Dulala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Yashoda Dulala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jaya Jagannatha Hare Jaya Jagannatha Hare Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Jaya Dev Goswami Jaya Dev Goswami Jaya Dev Goswami Jaya Jaya Dev Goswami Jaya Dev Goswami Jaya Dev Goswami Jaya Dev Goswami Jaya Jaya Dev Goswami O you who take shelter of the round breasts of Kamala, O you whose ears are decorated with earrings and who wears an enchanting garland of forest flowers, O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. O ornament of the sun globe, O you who severs the bondage of material existence, O swan who sports in the lake of the sages' minds, O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. O you who pulverize the pride of the venomous snake Kaliya, O you who delight the people of Braj, O sun that makes the lotus of the Yadu dynasty bloom, O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. O destroyer of the demons Madhu, Moda, and Narak, O you who ride upon Garuda, and who inspire the demigods' delightful play, O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. O you whose wide eyes resemble the petals of an immaculate lotus, O you who bestow emancipation from material existence, and who are the foundation of the three worlds, O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. O you who are decorated by the daughter of King Janak, Sita Devi, O you who defeated the demon Dushana and killed the 10-headed Ravana in battle, O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. O you whose complexion is lustrous like a fresh rain cloud, O you who hold the Mandara mountain, and who are the Chakora bird incessantly attached to the moon-like face of Sri Radha, O Hari, O Deva, may you be triumphant. O Lord, we have taken exclusive refuge at your lotus feet. Please bestow auspiciousness upon your surrendered servants by blessing us with prema bhakti. O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. May this radiant and auspicious song composed by Sri Jayadeva increase happiness for you and for your devotees who hear and recite it. O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. Jayadeva Goswami ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Joy Premanande, Haribol.
Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Pravarjantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Vidahaka Taruha Juhava Pucheti Tanmayataya Taravo Benedus Tang Sarvabhutardayam Munimanatosmi Bhaktya Vihina Yaparata Lakshay Chiptascha Kamaditarangamade Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Tavai Vasmi Najivami Taya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tannayamam Charanantike. First I offer my humble, respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, Om Vishnupada Stotra Satri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Van Goswami Maharaj, simultaneously to Her Divine Grace Srimati Sharmani Didi and to my Param Gurus Nityal Prishth Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Nityal Prishth Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Nityal Prishth Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and the whole Rupanu Guru Varga, and all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. And so we are hearing about Jayadeva Goswami, who compiled many beautiful Sanskrit compilations. Gita Govinda is one of the most famous pieces, which is actually sung to Jagannath every night before he goes to bed. He listens to Gita Govinda. And so we'll hear a little bit about the life history of Sri Jayadeva Goswami. So we'll go by mine now to Champakhata in Navadvip Dham. Very beautiful, beautiful place. Champak means flowers. Those white, very blossomed 5-leaf flowers. And it's very fragrant there. And so we'll pay our pranams here at Champakhata or Champahata. Was named after the large garden of champak flowers that used to be here. And so there are Gaur-Gadadhar deities present here. Very beautiful deities. And from what I can remember, there's a big field behind the residence there, the temple. Like this. Its present name is Champahati and is situated in the Vardhaman district. In Satyayug, an elderly Brahmin resided here and worshipped Sri Radha Govinda with these champak flowers. Pleased with his service, Sri Shyamasundar Krishna appeared before him as the beautiful Sri Gauda, whose complexion is resplendent like a champak flower, and said, quote, "In Kali Yuga I will manifest the form you now see and distribute the chanting of the holy name and love of Krishna to the living entities. At that time you will also take birth and witness my most munificent pastimes." In Mahaprabhu's pastimes, that Brahmana was Dvija Vaninath, the younger brother of Sri Gadadhar, who is the personified potency of Sri Gauda. In Krishna's pastimes, Vaninath was Kamaleka Sakhi. The deities of Sri Gaur Gadadhar that Vaninath worshipped are now being served here in Sri Gaur Gadadhar Gaudiya Math, which was established by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. This is Sri Jayadeva Goswami's residence and place of bhajan. Jayadeva Goswami was a contemporary of King Balal Sen, who greatly honored him. Jayadev's bhajan kuti was on the Ganga's eastern bank, some distance from Balala Sen's royal palace. But when an obstacle arose in his bhajan, he left there with his wife Padmavati and came to this solitary and charming garden. Once, as he was composing the verses of Gita Govinda, a pastime in which Srimati Radhika entered her sulky mood, man, appeared in his heart. Krishna's repeated attempts to remove her man all failed. Then the mood entered Sri Jayadeva's heart, in which he understood that to pacify Srimati Radhika, Sri Krishna put his head at her lotus feet. This filled Sri Jayadeva with fear, and he could not bring himself to write it. He thought, quote, "Sri Krishna is everyone's worshipful supreme lord, and he possesses all potencies. Srimati Radhika is his potency and maidservant. How is it possible for Sri Krishna to put his head at Radhika's lotus feet? That would transgress the principles of religion." His hand trembled and lost grip of his pen. He could write no more, so he went to take bath in the Ganga. Meanwhile, Sri Krishna, the topmost relisher of transcendental mellows, assumed the form of Sri Jayadev and went to his house. He asked Padmavati to bring him the manuscript and then personally completed the verse, Smaragarala Kandanam Mama Shirasi Mandanam. So he originally wrote Smaragarala Kandanam, the deadly poison of amorous love, that Jayadev had begun to write by adding Mama Shirasi Mandanam, Dehi Padda Palavam Udaram, is counteracted by decorating my head with your flower-like feet. Thus the verse goes, Smaragarala Kandanam, Mama Shirasi Mandanam, Dehi Padda Palavam Udaram. My beloved, offer the fresh buds of your enchanting feet as an ornament upon my head, so the devastating effect of Cupid's poison may be alleviated, and the harsh fire of amorous desires may also be relieved. So one might ask, in the material world, there's material conception, thinking that, oh, this is so, how could Krishna put his head at the feet of his consort, right? Oh, like this transgresses dharma, transgresses the principles of religion. But in the transcendental world, it's like a perverted reflection. So there's no comparison to material transgression, everything there is of transcendental nature. So it's Krishna is playing with his own shadow, like this. Radha and Krishna are one, but they split as two for pastime's sake. Shakti, Shakti, and Shaktiman. Shakti meaning potency, and Shaktiman. Potency, yeah. Sri Krishna left the house, and a short time later, Jayadeva returned. Surprised, his wife asked, "How were you able to come back so quickly? Just a short while ago you returned, wrote something in your book, and again went out to take bath." Yeah, because Krishna actually has no power to do anything without Radha. So Radha is everything actually to create, to do any creation leela, to do any enjoyment pastimes, to do any pastimes, all are coming from Sri Radha, right? His internal potency. I was reading Prabhupada's purports, and so we're so lucky and fortunate that we can hear also from Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaj how he revealed Prabhupada's mood, actually. So a lot of times, if you see in Bhagavatam in different places, that Prabhupada mentions internal potency. This is directly speaking of Sri Radha, though he doesn't mention it directly, but we can understand that what this means. And so he was saying in this purport that samadhi is granted by the internal potency. So when a devotee goes into samadhi, deep absorption in the Lord, in his pastimes, it's by the mercy of the potency, by Sri Radha's mercy, one can absorb in Krishna. And it's actually not by the devotee's will, he was explaining, that the devotee goes into that by her mercy, like this. So we're hearing about also Raghunath Das Goswami, which Vilap Kusmanjali, how he is three dashas, three stages, fully internal, half external, half weeping on the ground, dasha. And how he's completely, falling in and out of this consciousness, weeping, and then external consciousness where he's able to perform as like a sadhak. Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Natibi Kalavasani Kuro Nidrahara Viharakari Vijito Chatyanta Dino Chayo Vande Rupa Sanatano Ragoigoshi Jiva Gopalako. So chanting fixed number of rounds, doing a fixed number of obeisances, being very respectful to all the devotees and brahmanas, and controlling their sleep, controlling their eating, controlling their recreation. Like this, in a very humble mood, they would absorb in Sri Radha Krishna's sweet qualities, pastimes, and form. And so the 6 Goswamis did bhajan like this. And so now, actually, Krishna himself came in the form of Jayadeva Goswami and finished writing this verse. And his wife asked, "How were you able to come back so quickly? Just a short while ago you returned, wrote something in your book, and again went out to take bath." Jayadeva Goswami asked for his manuscript, and upon opening it saw that his unfinished verse was now complete. Filled with wonder, he told his wife, weeping, "O Devi, you are blessed. You had darshan of Shama Sundar Krishna, who personally came here and completed the verse I feared to write. Krishna is brought under control by prem, not by devotion based on rules and regulations." So that's how Krishna is controlled, right? Is by prem. That's where he's attracted. But first we follow rules and regulations, Vaishnava etiquette, how to surrender deeper, how to give up unwanted desires, and how to pray for the mercy of an eternal associate of the Lord. In the line of Rupa Goswami, Rupa Mandri. This is My Gurudev explains sadhana is this praying for one drop of mercy from the eternal associates. All of our acharyas, they're eternal associates. And giving up unwanted desires, anarthas of the heart, in simple terms. After some time, Jayadeva Goswami and his wife moved to Jagannath Puri. Gita Govinda is so beautifully sweet that even Jagannath Dev himself is eager to hear it. Once in a garden, a Deva Dasi, a dancing girl in the Jagannath temple, was singing the verses of Gita Govinda, and Jagannath Ji came out of the temple and swiftly ran towards that garden. Wow. So you can imagine the Deva Dasi, they'd sing for and dance for Jagannath very expertly. And so she was singing Jayadeva Goswami's Gita Govinda in the garden there. And then Jagannath himself came out to listen. As he ran, thorny bushes tore his cloth and scratched his body. When he had heard all the verses, he returned to the temple and took his place on the altar. When the pujari opened the door, he was astonished to see Sri Jagannath's condition. The head pujari and the king were informed, and everyone was filled with concern. The next night, Sri Jagannath appeared to the head pujari in a dream and revealed to him the secret that he had heard verses being sung from Gita Govinda, and in his haste to go to the source of the sound, his cloth was torn. When Sri Swarup Damodar recited Gita Govinda verses to Sriman Mahaprabhu, he became immersed in ecstasy. Sri Jayadev received darshan of his beloved Lord in his form as Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So as we know, Mahaprabhu is an eternal, actually Swayam Bhagavan. He's the original Supreme Lord, as well as Krishna, non-different. Krishna and Mahaprabhu are same. Just Mahaprabhu is taking the mood and complexion of Srimati Radhika. Would you like this part? Bhajan Rahasya Vritti. This one. This one. Service to Sri Radha, the gift of Srila Rupa Goswami. Sevakunj interview. Maybe. No, not there. Jewel box. Okay, maybe it's in the contents. Manini Radha. Yeah, I think I remember seeing it there. Almost there. There we go. Yeah. Oh, here, yeah. There. Not everything there. Okay. The jewel book. Okay. Okay. I don't feel qualified to read about this, but you're here. Okay. A song of separate. There's one very beautiful recording. I think different devotees have done recordings of it, but there's one very nice recording of the whole Gita Govinda. song track. Though we don't understand it, it sounds good. Our heart is touched. So this song from Sri Gita Govinda is very exalted. Sometimes Srimati Radhika, with or without reason, or with the shadow of a reason, or having created a reason in her mind, becomes Manavati. Manavati means sulky, in transcendental, loving, jealous anger. Once, when Krishna approached her, while she was in that mood, she told him, "O Black One, you should go away from here." And she turned her face away from him. He continually begged her to forgive him, but that day her man was very strong, and at last he left that place. After Krishna left, Lalita Devi saw that Srimati Radhika was greatly lamenting and weeping for him, and singing, "Why did I do what I did? Now I am remembering how he came to me, how sweet he was, and how he placed his flute at my lotus feet. Oh, why did I do man? Fie on me, why did I do so?" She was continually repenting, thinking how very lovingly he talks. He can take anyone's heart so easily. Lalita said, "Why can't you forget him?" Srimati Radhika replied, "How can I forget him? This is the thing. I want to forget him, but I cannot." Lalita said, "Then what can I do? I cannot help you. I told you to give up that black one, but you do not obey me, so what can I do?" Lalita Saki is the only one really chastising Srimati Radhika. Sri Gita Govinda is a jewel book brought by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We all know that Jayadeva Goswami has written this beautiful Gita Govinda, but without Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it would have remained locked like a pearl in the oyster shell or a jewel in a locked case. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested the glories of Sri Gita Govinda, just as without Srila Rupa Goswami, no one would have known the inner moods of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similarly, by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relishing the moods of Sri Gita Govinda, its glories became manifest for the entire world. I have explained this very high-class philosophy, but only rare devotees in this world can understand it. I have called you here only to give you this divine love of Radha Krishna. Lalita Lavanga Lata Parishilana Komala Malaya Samire. Madhukara Nikara Karambita Kokila Kuchita Kunjakutire Viharati Haririha Sarashavasante Nityati Yovati Janena Samam Sakivira Hijanasya Durante. Radhika had determined, "I will have no further relationship with Krishna. I will not go to meet him." Sri Krishna was upset to hear about her resolve, and he therefore sent a gopi to pacify her. That gopi told her, quote, "New leaves have sprouted on all the trees. Cuckoos are singing in the fifth note, and peacocks are dancing beautifully. All have become maddened, and all are attracted to come to Krishna. Please come. Do you know what will happen if you do not come at this time? So many other gopis want to meet with him and to please him. He may accept them and betray you, so don't delay. Come, follow me." Now Srimati Radhika wondered, what should I do? Lalita came and instructed her, "Don't go, don't care about him." Srimati Radhika said, "Oh Lalita, I cannot obey you because I am dying in separation. Whatever will happen, but I must go." Although she spoke like this, she did not go to meet with him, but continued to lament and weep. This is the purport. The aim and goal of all our efforts in sadhana and bhajan is absorption in and service to this lamentation and weeping of Srimati Radhika. The goal of our lives is to attain the exalted position of her maidservant, but such attainment is very rare in this world. That is why I am teaching the very gradual progression on the path of bhakti, beginning from Shraddha, initial faith, and then coming to Sadhu Sangha, association with pure devotees. My Gurudev mentions even before Shraddha is Sharanagati, the 6 limbs of surrender. Does anyone know the verse? Atmanikshepa karpani sadvida sharanagati. So this is the entrance into bhakti even. So, oh, I was referring to my spiritual master. He says even before Shraddha is Sharanagati, how to enter into Shraddha, without following this, one path is won't be complete. Anukuyasa sankalpa, pratikuyasa vivarjanam, accepting that which is favorable for Krishna bhakti, rejecting that which is unfavorable for Krishna bhakti. And faith in Krishna's protection, faith that Krishna will maintain, and one giving up pride, humility, developing humility, and atmanikshep, surrendering oneself fully, atma samarpan, right? Means giving of oneself, Once there's atma samarpan, swaha, right? You're giving yourself. Every day we're chanting Diksha mantras, chanting Maha mantra. But are we giving ourselves fully? Swaha means to give with no takebacks. So there's a one-way ticket to Vrindavan, right? There's no return ticket. So we develop this Sharanagati like this. And so he's saying Shraddha, initial faith, and then coming to Sadhu Sangha, association with pure devotees. And what does Sadhu Sangha mean? It means developing one's, obviously, service, Vishrambena Guru Seva, taking shelter of bona fide spiritual master. The first limb of Bhakti in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of the 64 by Rupa Goswami, he explains Guru Pada Shrai. This is the first limb, right? So first. Okay, yeah, skip, yeah. So Guru Pada Shrai. Sadhu Sangha means surrender. Bhajana Kriya, engagement in devotional practices. Anartha Navritti, freedom from activities obstructive to the development of bhakti. Nishta, steadiness. Ruchi, taste. Ashakti, attachment to Krishna. And then Bhav, spiritual ecstasy. In the stage of Bhav, the mood of transcendental bhakti, the essence of Samvit, Krishna's knowledge potency, and Hladini, his pleasure potency, mixing on the platform of Sandini, his existence potency, will come into your heart. So, yeah. Yeah, it's gradual. I think a few things come to my mind. One thing that comes to my mind is Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada. He explained how to chant Hare Krishna, right? In the beginning, we have a fixed number of rounds, but the quality of those rounds, they change over time. So your fixed number may not change. It may not increase so drastically from years even. But the quality of that japa will change. So does that make sense in relation to surrender as well? The quality of that surrender deepens as you progress in bhakti. So just having it as a, what do you call it? A like guideline. The 6 limbs of surrender. This is like our guideline. Is this favorable? For my bhakti. You can at every moment you can determine. This is a progressive immortality, as Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami explained. So there's a positive, surrender. Accepting that which is favorable, rejecting unfavorable things. But we don't know actually in our present stage what's unfavorable or favorable. We don't know. That's why we need Guru Padashray, taking shelter of Guru, taking Diksha, Shiksha, Vishrambena Guru Seva, hearing about the glories of Krishna, understanding the philosophy from A to Z, right? Having a foundation, Vaishnav Sadachar, following the, etiquette like this of the temple. Everything is there for a reason, to help control our mind, control our thoughts. Why do we wipe where we eat? Why do we, all these things? Why do we bathe in the morning? Why do we, all these things? Why do we wear tilak? Everything, Acharyas are giving us the process. So we just follow with faith, In the beginning, we can't determine what's unfavorable as well. So that's why surrendering to Guru, the Guru will give instructions, what's favorable, truly favorable for our soul. We don't know. Our consciousness is completely polluted right now. So, yeah, continue. Yeah, this is finished. Heat Govinda drawing request. Then it's talking about your drawing request. Shilananga Samraj's drawing request for you. Would you like me to read it, or someone else can read also? Okay. So I'll just read this one and then conclude. Yeah, maybe a few verses would be good. Yeah. So this is yeah. Okay. Oh, I have so many big. Maybe I'll read just a verse of this one. So you can imagine the Sanskrit is much deeper, and obviously realization is much deeper. What did Shilananga Samaraj say in the darshan once? You came to him and you said, you have practical knowledge, but I have no realization. He said, practical knowledge means zero. Walking in the forest. O Radha, threatening clouds devour the sky. Blackish tumult trees cast the forest into darkness. Damodar, Krishna, who is controlled by the love of his devotees, is naturally timid and cannot be alone at night, so take him home with you. Bewildered by intense joy as she turned toward the bower of desire trees beside the forest path, Sri Radha honored her friend's words. Triumph to Radha Madhav's confidential pastime. May its sweetness come alive in the hearts of the devotees. Okay. Krishna manifests in Sri Radha's heart. This one, they're all in the boutique, the originals. So in TV land? Oh.
Please get an art book. You can order it from Vasanti.
Everyone in TV land, order an art book. Your life will be sublime. I wanted to do a whole rhyme from there, like Madhavan, but I didn't do it. Your life will be sublime, and take your time, because this is a dime amongst many you cannot find. Saki, how astonishing it is that in this Ras festival, Madhu Ripu, Sri Krishna, the killer of the Madhu demon, has abandoned me, and he is roguishly amusing himself with other alluring girls. Despite this, again and again I remember him in my heart. He fills the flute resting on his lotus hands with the nectar of his lips, nectar that streams forth as a sweet, suggestive melody. When he glances flirtatiously from the corners of his eyes, his jeweled headdress quivers as his earrings swing against his cheeks. Over and over I remember Hari's, Krishna's, attractive dark complexion, his laughter, and his amusing behavior. His hair is adorned with a superbly charming array of peacock feathers, fashioned in a striking half-moon design. His luster resembles a mass of refreshing rain clouds colorfully shot through by an unending succession of brilliant rainbows. These especially vivid images of Hari constantly possess me. Arriving beneath an expansive kadamba tree in full bloom, he would wait for me and glance around in anticipation. When we would meet, he would fully dispel all my fears of separation by reassuring me with clever and flattering words. With ravishing glances emitting waves of longing, he would revel in loving pastimes with me, which are still alive in my heart of hearts. I become more and more restless, remembering that Hari. Jai Shri, maybe? The next one is Jai Shri. Oh, my darling Krishangi, delicate one, why are you merely coming and going before my eyes? Why are you not impelled by your overwhelming love and enchaining me in your embrace today? Why? Oh, oh, nice. Indeed, when a man is separated from his beloved and is drowning in the depths of despair, thinking of her, his reverie becomes so intense that it seems as if she is actually with him. In Radha's absence, Krishna has become so desperate that his meditation has culminated in directly perceiving her before his eyes. Wherever he looks, he sees only Sri Radha. She is there in every direction. She is everywhere, and that Radha alone is the only thing he sees in all existence. Shri Krishna is wondering what is real. The experience of meeting also occurs in the physical absence of my beloved Radha. Even now in separation, my skin is feeling the happiness of Radha's touch. My eyes are beholding her restless glances, full of affectionate mellows and overflowing with prem. My nose is smelling the fragrance of her lotus mouth. My ears are relishing the trickling nectar of Radha's crooked words as if I were directly hearing them. My tongue is drinking the delectable juice flowing from her soft red-berry lips. I am enjoying all of these sense objects now, just as I did when we were together. Therefore, I cannot understand why the torment of separation continues to mount. Okay. Where should I start? Okay. Sri Jayadev. Oh, this is Sri Chaitanya, His Life and Associates by Srila Bhakti Ballabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. And this is Jayadeva Goswami's Tito Bhav Titi. Wow, there's a lot. Okay, so I'll just start and then. Sri Jayadeva Goswami appeared in either the 11th or 12th century of the Shak era. There is a difference of opinion about his place of birth. The majority of opinion holds that he hailed from the village of Kendu Bilva, presently in the district of Birbhum. Others claim that he was born in either Orissa or South India. Kendu Bilva is situated about 20 miles south of Siori on the banks of the Ajay River. In the Gaudiya Vaishnav Abhidhan, it is stated that Jayadev found his Radha Madhav deities in this river's waters. It is also stated there that he used to rest and worship at the temple of Shiva known as Kusheshwar, which is also on the banks of the Ajay River. Jayadev's father was named Bojadev and his mother Vamadevi. Jayadev's life in Navadvip. Jayadev lived for a long time in Navadvip during the reign of the king of Bengal, Lakshman Sen, making his home not far from the king's palace. At that time, the king's chief scholar was Govardhan Acharya. According to Ashutosh Dev's Bengali dictionary, Jayadev was Lakshman Sen's court poet. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in his Navadvip Dham Mahatmya that Lakshman Sen was delighted when he heard Jayadev's hymn to the 10 incarnations, the Dash Avatar Stotra. When Govardhan Acharya notified the king that it was Jayadev who had composed the hymn, he became desirous to meet the poet. He went incognito to Jayadev's house, and when he saw him, he noticed that Jayadev possessed all the characteristics of a great and powerful spiritual personality. Deeply impressed and attracted by Jayadev, the king revealed his identity to him and invited him to come and live in the royal palace. Jayadev was leading a very renounced life and was therefore unwilling to live in the opulent environment of that palace. He told the king that he preferred to live in Jagannath Puri. Lakshman Sen was disappointed by Jayadeva's intentions. He quickly suggested that he take up residence in the village of Champahati, saying that it was a place suitable for a person who wished to lead a meditative life. He also promised him that he would never come to disturb him again. When Jayadeva agreed, Lakshman Sen had a cottage built for him in the village that was formerly known as Champakahata, not named after the beautiful garden of champa trees in the village market where its flowers were sold. It was in this village that Mahaprabhu's associate, Dvijabaninath, received a vision of him in the Satya Yuga, seeing him in the form of a Brahmin whose skin was the color of a champa flower. Similarly, Jayadev had a vision here, first of Radha Madhav, then of their combined form as the golden champa-colored Gauranga Mahaprabhu. I was saying earlier, Radha Krishna and Mahaprabhu are, Krishna is Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is Krishna, just taking the form, complexion, and sentiments of Srimati Radhika. Gaura Hari, he stole these features. After the Lord gave Jayadev this vision, he told him to go to Jagannath Puri. Although Jayadev was sad to leave the future abode of his Lord, he obeyed the Lord's command and made his way to Puri, where it is said that he was engaged as the king of Odisha's court poet. He spent the remainder of his life in the abode of Lord Jagannath, where he wrote the transcendental poem based on the sentiment of love and separation known as Gita Govinda or Astapadi. Indeed, Mahaprabhu told Jayadev while giving him the vision in Navadvip that after appearing there, he would take sannyas and go to Jagannath Puri, where he would relish the Gita Govinda. Further information about the life of Jayadev is found in the preface to the Kolkata Basumati Sahitya Mandir edition of Gita Govinda. Sometime prior to the Muslim conquest of Delhi, King Manikya Chandra ordered the writing of the book Alankar Shekhar, in which Jayadev is mentioned as the court poet of the king of Orissa. Sridhar Das, the son of one of the chief courtiers of Lakshman Sen, included many of Jayadev's verses in his anthology, Shad Ukti Karnamrit, citing a work named Amiyabhya Kavya, the colophon to one. Okay, too heady. This is Jayadev's marriage to Padmavati. Okay. According to legend, Jagannath himself ordered Jayadev to marry his wife, Padmavati. The story is told in Vishvakosha as follows. There once was a Brahmin who was without offspring, despite having worshipped Jagannath for many years in the hope of having a son. Finally, he and his wife had a daughter, and they named her Padmavati. When she came to marriageable age, the Brahmin brought her to Lord Jagannath to offer her to his lotus feet. When he saw them, Jagannath said to the Brahmin, I have a servant whose name is Jayadev. He has given up family life and has dedicated himself to chanting my names. Give your daughter to him in marriage. The Brahmin took his daughter to Jayadev and asked him to marry his daughter. However, since Jayadev had no desire to get married, he refused to agree to any such arrangement. The Brahmin then told him that it was Jagannath himself who had arranged this marriage, and without another word he left, leaving his daughter behind. Jayadev found himself totally unprepared for this situation and told the girl, quote, Tell me where you want to go, and I will take you and leave you there. You cannot stay here. Padmavati started to cry and said, My father brought me here to marry you on Jagannath Dev's order. You are my husband, my all in all. If you do not accept me, then I will fall down at your feet and die right here. You are my only hope, my lord. The poet and scholar Jayadev could not abandon her after such a heartfelt plea, so he became a householder. I was reading my Gurudev's book. There's one Bhagavatam shloka that says, the Lord is indebted to his devotees as like a wife, a chaste wife is indebted to her, or a husband feels indebted to the service of a humble, chaste wife. So that's in connection. It's not directly saying that, you know what I mean. So, but of course this is not a mundane relationship. Obviously, it's relationship situated and arranged by Lord Jagannath himself. So therefore, it's completely blessed. It's not due to our own anarthas. The Lord helps Jayadeva. Oh, so we already spoke about this. Maybe I can skip ahead a bit. Obviously, Jagannath's love for Gita Govinda. It was after Devadasi was reciting Gita Govinda in the courtyard. Jagannath himself came out to the Mahaprabhu appreciates Gita Govinda. Okay. In the last 12 years of his Leela, Mahaprabhu's Leela, was absorbed in Radha's mood and constantly relished this hidden spirit of love. During this time, he would savor the songs of the Gita Govinda. Day and night, the Lord would speak as though he were Radha meeting Uddhav. He would also relish the poems of Chandidas, Jayadeva, and Vidyapati. Mahaprabhu was never pleased to hear books or verses that contradicted Siddhanta, nor did he like hearing rasabas, an improper mixture of devotional sentiments. It was the practice of Srup Damodar Goswami to examine all the works of literature to find out whether their conclusions were correct. Only then would he allow them to be heard by the Lord. Sri Srup Damodar used to make Mahaprabhu very happy by singing the songs of Vidyapati, Chandidas, and Gita Govinda. Does everyone understand rasabas? Meaning rasabas? Meaning is sentiments of ras, but not aligning with the conclusions of Siddhanta. So Bhakti Siddhanta is very opposed to this mood. It's sahaja actually. Sahaja means easy. Trying to relish easily. This is not our process. Jayadeva and the robbers. Okay, should I skip there? I have just a few more. Srup Damodar would sing songs that reflected the moods of the Lord whenever they arose. Right, so Mahaprabhu was relishing these moods in Gambhira, only with Srup Damodar and a few associates, his servant Govinda, in a very confidential way, he's relishing these moods. Only qualified persons are in the assembly and relishing like this. Ramananda Rai also selected verses from Vidyapati Chandidas Geet Govinda according to the Lord's mood. Right? So you realize the heart of the Lord in those reciting verses. This is like the highest Guru Seva, is to realize the heart of Guru. The Lord returned to external consciousness for a moment and told Swarup to sing some sweet songs. Swarup sang one of Vidyapati's lyrics and then songs from the Gita Govinda, which were greatly appreciated by the Lord. Day and night, Mahaprabhu ecstatically relished the songs of Chandidas Vidyapati and Ramananda Roy's plays, as well as Krishna Karnamrit and Gita Govinda in the company of Swarup and Ramananda. Jayadeva and the robbers. Many other such marvelous and miraculous events were scattered through Jayadeva's life. He used to serve his deities Radha Madhav in a trance of divine love. It is said that just as the devotee dedicates himself to the Lord also dedicates himself to his devotee. One day, as Jayadeva was thatching his roof under the merciless midday sun, Jagannath saw his devotee's discomfort and decided to help him quickly finish the work by handing him the rope needed to bale the straw and removing the finished bundles and placing them on the roof. Jayadeva thought it was Padmavati who was helping him in this way, but when he came down from the roof after finishing much earlier than expected, he saw no one there. He asked his wife, and she told him that she had been busy elsewhere at the time. He was curious about what had happened, but struck with wonder when he went into the deity room and saw that Madhav's hands were black from handling the straw. He was thus able to understand that it was Madhav himself who had come to help him thatch the roof. He fell down before his Lord and started to cry. On another occasion, Jayadeva wished to put on a festival for his deities Radha Madhav, but he was short of money. He decided to travel in order to collect some funds by making use of his poetic skills. On his return journey, he was stopped by a band of thugs who not only stole his money, but cut off his hands and feet and threw him down a well to die. Wow. Despite the pain, Jayadeva shouted out the names of the Lord as loudly as he could. After Jayadeva had spent 3 days in this way, the king happened to pass that way on a hunting expedition and heard the sound of the holy names coming from the hole in the ground. The king approached the sound out of curiosity and was horrified to see Jayadeva in such a serious condition. He had him pulled out of the well and brought back to his palace where he had him treated. Under the queen's care, Jayadeva gradually returned to health. Both the king and queen were charmed to Jayadeva's sweet singing of the Gita Govinda, as well as by his saintly character. They sent for Padmavati and had her brought to their home to help take care of him. The royal couple heard about Krishna from Jayadeva and took initiation from him and started to make their lives successful by service of the Lord and his devotees. One day, the robbers who had attacked Jayadeva came to the king's palace as guests in the guise of devotees. Even though Jayadeva recognized who they were, he offered them the appropriate honor due to their outward appearance and arranged for the king's hospitality to be extended to them. The robbers, however, did not understand Jayadeva's forgiving and generous nature, and fearing capture and punishment, thought it best to leave without accepting the royal invitation. Jayadeva understood their fear and asked the king to give them a large sum of money, an escort, and send them on their way. Imagine, this is near Matsara, and no envy. Even the people cut his hands and feet off. He had full faith in the Lord, right? Just like Haridas Thakur, when being beat through 22 marketplaces. Kanda kanda say, Deha yai adi pran. And he said, I'll never give up Harinam, even if my body is completely destroyed, even if my limbs are hanging off of me, even if they want to cut me up in pieces, I'll never give up Harinam. This is faith. Right? So, after they had gone a certain distance, the robbers said to the soldiers accompanying them, quote, You need not go any further. However, we would like to give you a secret message to convey to the king. Prior to becoming Vaishnavas, we were the servants of a certain king, who for very good reason ordered us to murder this priest, Jayadeva. That is why we cut off his hands and feet and left him to die. The reason this priest gave us a lot of money and asked us to leave quickly is because he was afraid that this secret would come out. Unable to tolerate the telling of such a great lie, the earth herself opened up and swallowed the entire gang of thieves. The goddess of the earth was unable to support the weight of these sinful liars, and so she swallowed them up. As they blasphemed the great devotee of the Lord, they met their doom in the bowels of the earth. So it said that the earth can tolerate many things, but it can't tolerate one liar. Lying is a very heavy thing. So we want to be careful in our conduct also. We don't even realize, we're subject to 4 defects, conditioned soul, tendency to cheat, lie, cheat, the tendency to have imperfect senses, right? So we may perceive something, but actually our senses are limited in nature. The tendency to, cheat, be illusioned, right? Be under illusion. Our mind is telling us so many things. Oh, this person's doing this. That person's doing that to me. This, that, and the other. So many things, so many problems, all coming from the mind. And the last one is mistakes, tendency to make mistakes, right? So imperfect in service. Sometimes we make seva aparad, not knowingly, unknowingly. So at the end of the day, when doing pujari seva, very important to recite the forgiveness prayers when putting the deities to rest. It's in Archandipika. It says, oh, please forgive me for any imperfect services I've performed. This way one can be free from seva aparad, like this. But nothing is higher than the holy name for seva aparads, because actually the holy name, not only does it destroy the fruit of any sinful activity, but it uproots the desire to even commit them. That's why having faith in the holy name is everything. So, when Shukracharya, the guru of the demons, told Bali Maharaj not to give the 3 feet of land demanded by Vamandev, Bali answered that he was the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. How could he go back on his word like a miser once he had committed himself to giving in charity? He substantiated this by quoting the earth, Nahi asyat paro dharma. There is no greater irreligiousness than untruth, says the earth. I can bear any burden other than that of a person who constantly lies. Srimad Bhagavatam 8:24. The servants of the king who had accompanied these robbers, were astonished to see them punished for their offense to Jayadeva right before their very eyes. When they came back to the king's palace, they told him everything they had witnessed. The king inquired from Jayadeva about the robbers, and he told the entire story. He said, O king, O saintly man, a saintly man does not seek revenge from those who have done evil toward him. He attempts to satisfy them by polite behavior. Even so, the Lord's flawless will makes them suffer the consequences of their own sin, as he did in this case. Right, so truth always prevails. You can see in Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita. So in this way we have faith and treat everyone with respect, even those who we have deemed harmed us or have hurt us, we just, okay. The reaction of my own karma and Lord's mercy on me, and then we can always be humble and tolerant, and give respect to others, not expect for ourselves, and we can chant the holy name continuously, How much time? 8:30? Okay. This is just 2 more parts. Padmavati is tested. Jayadev's wife became a close friend to the queen. In those days, the practice of sati, where a wife would enter the funeral pyre along with her husband, was an accepted custom. Wow, I didn't know that. The process of sati, when the husband dies, the wife also enters the funeral pyre, just like sati, self-immolated. Is that why her name is Sati? That's why? I don't know. Is it actually? Yeah, where she self-immolated. That's in 4th canto, Daksha's pastime. He offended Lord Shiva, and the Sati is the daughter of, Daksha, main Prajapati. She self-immolated due to the offense that Daksha committed to Lord Shiva, deeming him a mundane person. The Lord can't tolerate such a thing. After her brother's death, the queen was mortified that her sister-in-law would have to die on the funeral pyre with him. Padmavati said to the queen, quote, a faithful wife's life heirs leave her body the very moment that her husband dies. When the queen heard this, she decided to test Padmavati herself. One day she announced to Padmavati that her husband Jayadev had suddenly died. As soon as this news entered Padmavati's ears, right? Wow, so the queen was testing Padma, and said that your husband has died. Jayadev has died, right? Because her advice to the queen was to, that one should give up the very moment that her husband dies. And as soon as the news entered Padmavati's ears, she instantly gave up her life. Instantly, on hearing this. Padmavati's sudden death shocked the queen, who began to cry out of a sense of guilt for having caused it. The king went to Jayadeva and begged him to return the life to Padmavati's corpse. The great devotee Jayadeva whispered the name of Krishna into his wife's ear, and she opened her eyes as though she had just awakened. Upon seeing this manifestation of both Jayadeva and Padmavati's glories, the king and queen, as well as their courtiers and servants, paid obeisances at their feet. The last section, Jayadeva goes to Vrindavan. After this, Jayadeva wished to see Vrindavan. He took leave of the king and queen, and then, taking his deities Radha and Madhav with him, set off on the long journey. So he's going from Jagannath Puri. That's extremely far. Once in Vrindavan, he began to serve his... Yeah, it does it. That I heard also. I don't. It didn't say. It just said that he gradually returned to health. But that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I understood as well. So after his hands and feet were cut off, just have faith in the Lord. This is the bottom line. Like how if we were in that situation, we would just like die. Yeah, we just. Jayadeva. So once in Vrindavan, he began to serve his deities in an area near Keshigat. When the residents of the Dham heard Jayadev sing the Gita Govinda in his sweet voice, they were entranced. One merchant built a large temple for the deities on that site. It is said that Jayadev returned to his birthplace at Kendu Bilva after living in Vrindavan for many years. He spent the rest of his life there, worshipping his deities and performing his bhajan. He would make the long walk to the Ganges every day to take his bath there. One day, for some reason or another, he was unable to make it. Wow. So he went back to his birthplace and spent the rest of his life there after establishing the deities in Vrindavan. So Ganga Devi was so kind to him that she came personally to the village of Kendu Bilva so that he could bathe in her holy waters. It is said that Jayadev died in Kendu Bilva, and every year on the first day of the month of Magh, a large festival is held there in his memory. Here on the first day of the month of Magh. There is, however, a difference of opinion about where Jayadev finished his life. Though some say he returned to Kendu Bilva, others claim it was Puri, and still others say that he went to Vrindavan. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur has stated his opinion that Jayadev left this world from Jagannath Puri. Though some people say that Jayadev returned to Kendu Bilva to spend his last days, there is no indication anywhere that he brought his Radha Madhav deities with him. In fact, these deities were taken by the king of Jaipur to a place named Gati sometime after Jayadev's passing away, and they are still being served in the Jaipur area. Jayadev's disappearance day is on the 6th day of the waning moon of the month of Posh. Jai Srila Jayadev Goswami ki Jai, Tirobha Mahamotsava ki Jai, Mahamotsava ki Jai, Mahamotsava ki Jai. So we can pray to him for this transcendental faith. And one day we can enter the topics of Gita Govinda, which he compiled. And so by his causeless mercy he's giving today, we can pray for this highest goal, and also his practice in sadhana and his deep faith in Nam and Krishna. Jayo. Any other questions? Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Jai Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Patit Pavan Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Gaura Premanande. Kiva Jayo Jaya Gaura Chandir Arati Koshoba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandir Arati Koshoba Jana Vitata Vane Jagamana Loba Jana Vitata Jagamana Dakshine Nitai Chan Bame Gadadhara Dakshine Nitai Chan Nikate Advaita Shini Vasa Chachadara Nikate Arita Shishini Vasa Chachadara Iva Bosi Ache Gorachan Radna Simhasane Kiva Bosi Ache Gorachan Arati Karena Brahma Adi Deva Gane Arati Karena Arati Karena Brahma Adi Deva Gane Arati Karena Brahma Adi Deva Nara Hari Adi Kori Chamaradulaya Nara Hari Kori Chamaradulaya O Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Goshaya Rigaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Goshaya Rigaya O Shanka Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Shanka Bhaje Ganta Madhura Mridanga Bhaje Paramarasala Madhura Mridanga Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Bolo Madhur 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 O Shanka Bhaje Kanta Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Bolo Shanka Bhaje Kanta Bhaje Madhur 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 O Shanka Ganta Kolkaratala Madhur 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 Bhaje Shanka Ganta Kolkaratala Madhur 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 O Gaurangera Rati Shobha Madhur 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 Bhaje Gaurangera Rati Shobha Madhur 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 O Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai O Bahukoti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujvala Bahukoti Chandra Jini Vadana Gala Deshe Vanamala Kore Jalamala Gala Deshe Vanamala Shiva Shukana Radha Preme Gada Gada Shiva Shukana Radha Preme Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gora Rasampada Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gora Rasam Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gora Rasampada Bhakti Vinoda Deke Jayo Jayo Radha Krishna Yugala Milana Jayo Jayo Radha Krishna Yugala Milana Arati Korena Lalita Di Saki Gana Madana Mohana Rupa Chibanga Sundara Madana Mohana Rupa Chibanga Sundara Pitambara Shiki Pucha Churo Manohara Pitambara Shiki Pucha Churo Manohara Lalita Madhava Bame Brishabhanu Kanya Lalita Madhava Shabanu Kanya Nilavasana Gauri Rupe Guniranya Nilavasana Gauri Rupe Nana Vidaya Linkar Kore Jalamala Nana Vidaya Linkar Kore Banam Harimana Vimohana Vadana Ujvala Harimana Vimohana Vadana Vishakari Saki Gana Nana Rage Ga Vishakari Saki Vishakari Saki Gana Nana Rage Ga Vishakari Saki Gana Priya Nama Saki Jato Chamara Dulai Priya Nama Saki Jato Chamara Dulai Re Amara Dulai Re Chamara Dulai Re Amara Radha Krishna Rati Kore Chamara Dulai Re Radha Krishna Rati Kore Chamara Oh, Jai Radhe, Shri Radhe Bole, Chamara Dulai Re, Jai Radhe, Shri Radhe Bole, Chamara Dulai. Oh, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Krishna, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Krishna, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Krishna. Jayo Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Shri Radha Madhava Parasarasi Jaya Shri Radha Madhava Parasarasi. Oh, Bhakti Vinoda Saki Pade Sukhe Bashe, Bhakti Vinoda. Oh, Radhe Radhe Govinda Jaya Jaya, Radhe Radhe Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Ki Jai, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Radha Raman Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Radha Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Om Vishnu Pada Stotra Sat Shri Shrimad Shri Bhakti Vedanta Bhan Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Om Vishnu Pada Stotra Sat Shri Shrimati Sharmani Didi Ki Jai, Nitil Prishtam Vishnu Pada Stotra Sat Shri Shrimad Shri Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai, Nitil Prishta Shri Shrimad Shri Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai to the Prishta Shri Shrimad Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, to the Prishta Shri Shrimad Shri Bhakti Pragan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai, to the Prishta Shri Shrimad Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai, Swaparikar Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Mahabhagavad Shri Guru Kishore Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Saptam Goswami Shri Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Gauri Rupanu Guru Varga Ki Jai, Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath, Sar Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai, Namacharya Thakur Ki Jai, Jayadeva Goswami Ki Jai, Tirabhav Maha Mahotsava Ki Jai, Maha Mahotsava Ki Jai, Maha Mahotsava Ki Jai, Shri Antati Maya Purshnavadri Dham Ki Jai, Shri Srup Damodar Manandari, Shri Gaura Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai, Prit Pava Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Sachinandan Gaurari Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Shri Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Purnamasi Devi Ki Jai, Nantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Sambheda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Tai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Om Vrindaye Tulasi Devai Priyai Keshava Sacha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatai Namo Namah Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Mahaprasad Ki Jai.